space to the oceans. You may come up with any idea, thought, process, innovation, invention, platform, application. If our gut says this is something that can be scaled up in this region, we take it up. Okay? Number one. Number two, when we say we are license agnostic, as you know, in the Dubai and in the UAE, there are various free zones, offshore zones, mainland. There is the economic zone. There are various zones that are there. So whether you're having a free zone license, whether you're having an offshore license, or whether you're having a mainland license, we are allowed to incubate you. The general norm and standard is if you're having a free zone company, you cannot, and a license of a free zone company, you cannot work in the mainland. That's the law of the land. But here we have incorporated that an idea cannot be restricted to just a zone. An idea or a thought or a platform is universal today. So it's across the board. So and as an incubator, we should be facilitated with that, and we have had that incorporated into our license. Number one. Visa, the moment you get a free zone visa, automatically free zone license, you automatically have only a free zone visa also. So that mandates as per the UAE government at the federal level that you are not allowed to work in the mainland then, whichever emirate you may be. So we are also visa agnostic. So you could be on a student visa, you could be on a visit visa, you could be on a transit visa, you could be on a mainland visa, or you could be on a free zone visa. We are allowed to host you in our incubator. The general norm is that if you're found working in any other zone, you are deemed to be fined 50,000 dirhams. Okay, so here we have that listed in our license. So that's why I said we are sector agnostic, license agnostic, and visa agnostic. We are right now we are licensed to incubate up to 100 startups, but we are barely 18 months old. We also started just at the time when COVID was in its peak of its time. And it took us a lot of convincing the government to set up a physical infrastructure because we were thinking of going online first. But as we say back in India, what you see is what you get. So we had to set up something which is physical and make it viable enough for us to go to the next level, which is the online. Hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have that online platform up and running. Out of the 9 sectors, we are in various formats of the evolution of our ecosystem. The reason why we are not focused only to one specific sector is that through our many years of our entrepreneurial experience, we realized that that is the background that we are coming from. Four of the management team of Startup.com are from Stanford, Oxford, Harvard, MIT, and AIU. So that's a whole lot of 200 plus years of cumulative pedagogy experience that we have accumulated through the years of our failures, lots of them, which is what people today would like to know about much more. So we have accumulated all that knowledge to sort of impart that mentoring and coaching to the next generation of startups and entrepreneurs. Most of our entrepreneurs are already in their late 40s and early 30s. We are, as I said, in 9 different sectors, and each sector has been cross-pollinating the others. For us, it was building ecosystems, and each person who initially came and pitched to us pitched a certain idea, and we kept that at abeyance till and until we felt there were others who could fit into that same ecosystem. For example, when we had a specific pitch in the travel and tourism ecosystem, which is one of the biggest revenue generating streams in this part of the region, Dubai specifically. This was only airport assistance, and they just had a few airports onboarded onto their platform, which is airport assistance is like what you get in when you landed in Dubai. You must have heard of the Maraba service, which is right from a wheelchair to a bouquet of flowers to a placard saying that you want any assistance, all that. But this is much more than that. So when they came on board with a certain number of airports under their kitty, that also, as I said, during the peak of the COVID time, when flights were down, quarantines were happening, and there was no flights happening, these people pivoted to sort of ramp up their operations and onboard as many airports as possible, knowing full well that down the line there is going to be a huge travel wave, and that's invariably that's happening. So from an X number of airports today, they've got 1,192 airports onboarded onto their platform. So if you're looking for JFK airport assistance, they're number 1. If you're looking for Heathrow airport assistance, they're number 1. You're looking for Dubai airport assistance, they're number 1. So it's not the in-house government airport assistance at the airports which are really reigning. It is this airport assistance, and it's run by just one lady, and 3 others strategically placed at international timelines. So they coordinate this entire thing. So when that type of a startup came up, we tried to see who else fit into that. So the next set of pitches we had was the Thrill Up, which is basically a experiential marketing agency who onboarded all the different tourist visiting spots here in the Middle East. And on a single click of a button, you could pay them and you could get a QR code. And you don't need to stand in line. Otherwise, when you come here physically, you need to go buy a ticket, you need to stand in line and then go. It takes quite a bit of time to enter into the attraction. So here's somebody who curated this entire thing. They've got close to about 300 plus tourist spots now on their portal. Imagine they've crossed the $1 million mark in revenue. So these are small examples of how we try and bring about those individuals or those platforms into one ecosystem which complements each other. So you have airport assistants, you have Thrilla. Then another person who came on board is the visa guy. Now, anywhere you want to travel, you need to have visas. So they started off with a 2-member team. Today they are 8. And just the other day I came to know that they have increased themselves to 10. So imagine the amount of visas they are processing. So you need assistance today. Even if you have an online platform, you still need to go ahead and do all the work. But that's how. So now the visa is there, the experiences are there, the airport assistant is there. The 4th member who came into the team and they came and pitched to us was the ticketing agency. So wherever you're flying in the world, you need to buy a ticket. So safari.com. So that's the next platform that we. So this whole ecosystem of just travel and tourism has now formed. The moment you do apply for a ticket, your visa guy pops up. The moment the visa is done, your experiences pops up. The moment the experience is done, the airport assistance pops up. So it all is a seamless, straight transaction that can be executed. So this is one form of how the ecosystem is being built. Similarly, in health, as you can see, we have the quaternary care unit here, which is Vivanza, which is networked with 17 of the world's top hospitals. This is the one-point contact referral center. Simultaneously, we have extended our operations with Zikitsa, which is the ambulance unit, which is at the other end, which when it initially started was having 4 ambulances, now it's gone up to 22. So these are the ways in which we try and build an ecosystem. So you have the ambulance, you have the quaternary care, you have the reproductive care, that is MMCIF. You have Pure Health, which is the another division which is related to when COVID struck, they had the vaccination and the PCR testing facilities that the government allowed us to do. So each of these things complement each of the other departments in that ecosystem that we are building. So we have, I've spoken to you about health, I've spoken to you about travel and tourism. The other division which we have started, which no other incubator generally touches here in this region and otherwise, is we have a very soft corner being from India where we sort of take up projects related to films, music and art, because that's something which is up our alley there in India. So we are doing a lot of projects. We have incorporated and onboarded one specific artist called Da Vinci Suresh, who's just landed from, he participated in the World Art Dubai here in the World Trade Center in the beginning of this year. And we are so happy to note that here's a man who was almost not known in this region, and just one individual based in a small village in India, when we brought him over to Dubai, today he has been shortlisted to participate in the New York Art Gallery at the other end of the world. So here's one. So you might ask me, why would we want to incubate? Is he an entrepreneur? Is he even an artist is an entrepreneur? Okay, because he's also wanting to reach level of his operation. So we have packaged him with the necessary social media team, the marketing team, the branding team to sort of take him forward. So that's also in our ecosystem, they are supporting these incubatees who are working around. So what happens is, whenever the incubatees need a certain bit of help, whether for drafting of MOUs or for audit or for presentations or pitches, these people come on board to support them at one level. Yes, of course, when it goes to a commercial level, there's a certain fee that we ask them to pay because it should not come in as if they are only getting everything free, because as they say, yeah, everything doesn't, you need to put a timeline to that and you need to put a stop to that also. So down the line, they should realize that when you step out of the incubator, you'll have to pay for all these services. So that has brought about a very vibrant ecosystem at our center, because generally the government was stipulating to us that only incubatees should be at the incubator and no professionals should be working. But we got this vibe that it is better to have professionals also, rather than we mentoring them and giving them a certain level of our guidance. But it's more the market people who are already sitting there and dealing with the market on a daily basis, who have all that wherewithal to give them the trends, the commercial understanding, so that it is on the spot and at hand. It is not something which is a book knowledge that we are trying to impart to them. So what I will do is to run you through a pitch that we have, which is one of our incubates who's from the travel and tourism industry, so that that will give you a whole timeline of the last 18 months of the successes that they have gone through and the pain pangs that they have gone through in pivoting from a tourism perspective, where travel all over the world was banned and quarantine was happening in almost all the cities of the world. How they ramped up their operations intra to sort of focus first here and scale themselves and also survive through that period, so that they were able to now reach the level at which they are in. So I'll introduce you to Fazil. He's the CEO of Trilak.com, the experiential marketing agency, who's under the banner of Startup.com as an incubator. So Fazil. And then we'll come back for any Q&As, and I would rather that you all ask, because ours is purely experiences rather than me speaking about how our incubator is running, because the general operations of how our incubator accelerator runs, I think all of you know. So I would rather give you our last 18 months of our experiences we have gone through in these various sectors that we have been incubating, okay?
Hi everyone. Hi, good morning. Sorry I was late bit. And Trilak, I just want to ask you one question before I pitch. How many of the people are experienced in Dubai? Like you guys are going to any experiences, any attractions, any venue?
You mean like tourism?
Tourism places, yeah.
Who has traveled, visited any of those spots already?
So you book it through online or you book it through agent? Online, like, okay. So Trilak is a similar concept of the people can book tours and activities and experiences in online, basically. So it's a curated marketplace, and you can see here most of the tours and activity segments are booking less than 30% in online. Majority of the people are booking through the venue partner directly, the museums, or the travel agent through by phone, or they directly walk into the venues. Why it's happened so much in offline? So the problem we are seeing here, the majority of the consumers, the tour operator, the very big venue partner, they don't have the digital assets. They don't have a website. Apart from the big venue partner, that's why it's coming normal offline 30%. Like 30% of people are booking online. The most of the tour operators have a minimal presence. They don't have even the digital asset. They don't have a clear marketing strategy to book through in the website. So Trilak, we have coming for the solution. It's a basic human solution we are giving, like access to incredible experiences in online. In terms of technology, we are giving real-time availability with instant confirmation and affordable price and easy checkout. The market size is 250 billion market, and I told you in the beginning as well, 30% of booking for tours and activities, so it's a 7 billion market we are tapping up. And the target market for by Trilak is 11 billion, it's a MENA region. The business model is very simple. It's 20 to 25% commissions we are taking from the tour operator. So we have a success stories like last 5 years. We have served 200K plus guests and 2.8 million visitors, 90K plus bookings, and it is resulted of $10.5 million GMV. We have major partnership with the 100 plus providers in UAE and Turkey. We have partnered with at the top Burj Khalifa, Dubai Parks and Resorts, Ferrari World, IMG World, Ain Dubai, and Lower Abu Dhabi, plus 100. The competition, you can see like Get Together, Viator is a traditional marketplace. If you say like why we are saying traditional marketplace, the industry is very fragmented. And you can see like when you go to Get Together or Viator, you can type in any Dubai cities or desert safari, you can see hundreds of listings. It's difficult for you to curate and take a decision making. We are a curated marketplace, so we are actually curating the listings based on the standards, based on the quantity, based on the quality, the price, and uniqueness. We are MENA focused. I told you in the beginning as well. We are only next 5 years. We are only going for MENA region. It's Morocco, Egypt, Oman, and Saudi, and we are already in UAE. We are a mobile-first platform which takes lesser than 30 seconds and transfer, get your ticket within 2 seconds. And we have another competitive advantage. We have an interest-free installment. We partnered with Tabby. He's one of the BNPL partner in UAE. So the team, my name is Fazil. I'm a co-founder and CEO. Firoz is looking for the product. He is a CEO as well. Mr. Babu is a co-founder and mentor. He's working in Dubai 13 years for that. Thank you.
So is there any questions related to travel and tourism that you would like to ask Fazil? If there's any clarification that you want, yeah.
Quick question. So regarding, of course, you're selling the subs in terms of it's making it more curated, easy, and quicker to get. So are the prices pretty much the same they would get in the venues, or is it higher and you charge a little bit higher because of the service fee or the commission?
No, it's just lesser than in the venue.
Lesser.
Yes, yeah.
That's because they are directly tied up with the venue partner. So it's not as if they are agents specifically. It's a symbiotic understanding with them. In fact, most of them with whom they are not tied up are also approaching them because they are number one in the region now.
And may I ask you just one more thing? So what, if you can describe the biggest challenge you had in your journey through, scaling the business and, coming to get people on board, and what was it?
Yeah, it's a good question. Basically, like it's a big challenge for us, like in this industry, like especially for tours and activities segment. You can see like hotels and flights, they have a unique structure. If you say an example, if you have flights, they have economy, business class, and first class. They have 3 categories. But in terms of tours and activity segment, they have a different behavior for each activity. So building a platform for adapting the platform and connecting this API, connecting the supplier. And we are not only dealing with the higher level of tour operator, we are also dealing with the lower level. So understanding them, the technology, understanding the market, so understanding how the booking will be increased, it's very difficult for us. So we almost in UAE, we done all the partner. And in terms of curating like listing, we understanding them how they get a beneficial if they come up in our platform, because the world is completely in online now. So we are understanding them, we are educating them, we are giving the basic training for them, how to handle the system, how to develop the system. So this is actually, it's very challenging factor for us, but we did it somehow in
So here I just want to add to what Fazil said, that in the peak of the COVID, when they were almost in a state of panic as to, because now the flights are down and the airports are closed, what do you do? So when they did their brainstorming amongst the team members, mind you, they're just 4-member team which is handling this at a global level. So when they started ideating, they realized that there are still travel available here in UAE itself. Why not focus intra rather than inter-country? And that scaled them up to such a level because there was travel happening all over in the UAE and in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi and in Sharjah. And within a few months of their campaigns running focused towards here rather than out of UAE, they got a traction which was not even imagined by us as an incubator, because we also didn't understand those analytics, because we were wondering why you're burning funds which were supposed to be, because when airports are closed and the environment is not conducive for travel, why are you doing that? But the UAE was so safe that way that the government of the country here at the federal level and at the emirate level saw to it that even though there were quarantines happening in certain levels, but after that initial period of that March, April of 2020 to 2021, whatever quarantine times over, at least in the country, the intra-travel of visitors and tourists traveling, the Emiratis and the expats traveling to all the experiential marketing sites were still on. So they focused there, and 18 million dirhams in a year's time, that's not a small amount. This is not external tourism in the country. So that's how, I'm not saying that the credit goes to us, the credit goes to them only. But to facilitate that insight and the data, so this is something which we are working on. As we are expanding as an incubator, now the next step that we are wanting to do is, as you all know, we were at the GITEX and you all were at the GITEX. The next generation of analytics and data is what is going to support these sort of startups. So what we are doing is we ourselves are preparing, are in the process of creating a cloud onto which each of these sectors are going to be onboarded. And the type of traffic on their hits, their visits, their bookings, all that is going to be analyzed, and it's going to be clubbed with the Dubai Economy Department, so that those sort of data that is coming in from us is also setting the trend. And like I told the Dubai Economy CEO and the Dubai SME CEO, we will soon be coming to you and saying, hey, you guys are going the wrong way. This is where you're supposed to be headed to. So it's a changeover from the government telling us what is happening to us telling them that this is where you should be headed to. Because when you have so many sectors, the amount of data that we are going to collect and collect and aggregate is going to be humongous. Even though it is just a few of them, but these are achievers, these are global award-winning platforms. These are, you name it. I wouldn't want to sort of speak too highly about every one of them, but in a way, they have achieved in this last 18 months what even we in our wildest dreams could not imagine. Because as you know, globally, 95 to 99% of the startups are failing. And to have 4 startups of ours winning their golden visa is a big achievement for us. 3 of them having crossed their $1 million mark is a big achievement for us. So these are a little bit of our credibility factor. So if there are any questions that you want to specifically ask about our incubator or any of our incubatees, you can ask. Otherwise, when we are at the other end of the building, we will introduce you to the others. You can have a one-on-one with them and get to know them and interact. So if there are any questions you can ask, you want to ask, you want me to elaborate on, or you want to ask Fazil. Why I've kept only Fazil here and the others there is so that you have a more free and frank talk to those people whom you want to speak to out there. This is basically like a pitch. So I was told that reduce the amount of time of interaction here and let them interact more with the. Okay. So is there anything that you want to know further? Yeah.
You mentioned 9 sectors.
Yeah.
What are they?
So there is music, films, art in media. There is health. There is tertiary, there is services, there is AI and robotics in technology, there is travel and tourism. So these are the various.
Okay.
We have here a group of 30 startups with amazing solutions that they are already generating revenue in Brazil, and they are thinking to expand to the UAE region and
Okay.
the region. So, what do you offer in terms of soft landing programs so that they can understand how they can adapt and scale their solutions?
Okay, I got the question. This is something which a lot of our pitches from all over the world, we get pitches from South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Estonia, Ukraine, and from India. One thing is very clear. Startups today can only be successful. Your idea might be brilliant in localized towards Brazil, but if that does not fit into the community here, into this region here, there's no use of us incubating you and uprooting you from your home country and basing you here, unless that idea and concept can be scaled in this region and is acceptable. So that's the R&D we do to try and find out whether the idea, thought, process, innovation, or the platform that you're working on can be either merged here with any other individual who acts like a landing spot, because you wouldn't physically want to uproot yourself from Brazil to just set up here, because you already have an ongoing platform which is based in Brazil. So we listen to ideas. We listen to ideas for the simple reason so that it opens up our level at what the trends are, what the knowledge is, what's the level at which you would like to operate or collaborate or partner or associate with us. So we listen to the idea. And the topmost thing, and let me be very clear, we don't have any pitching panels or we don't have any judges and cohorts and all that. We literally go through our gut feeling. There's a sixth sense of ours which says, hey, this is an idea that, so that's how each one of these people have joined us. We have not sent them through a judging process or anything to, so as I said, we have a license to incubate up to 100, we have onboarded 16, but whom we are funding, and 21 is the total level of incubates. And when we put a stop, we realize that each one of them are pulling our hair out, because it's tough to handhold each and every one of them in different sectors. So, because each have a different concept of how their operations are. So it took us time to understand that. That whole of last year, when COVID was almost on its way out, it took us time to sort of also make them understand that, hey, everything happens at its own space and pace. And it is important that you understand the markets first. Some of them have not been in this region, have landed from various parts of India and otherwise. So it took them time also to understand. And then once the traction happened, and that's what is happening from June of this year, we've started getting that traction. So till that time, the hand-holding is important. So I'll run you through the process. Once a pitch comes to us, at two levels we issue licenses. That is the Dubai government's license. So one is the mainland license which we issue, and the second is a as an incubatee, we allow you a certain sort of facilitation. So from our side, we are allowed to issue two types of license. One is a 100% ownership license, which means you should be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, accountant, or an architect. If you have completed your 5 years of a professional degree, that needs to be ratified and certified in your home country, and then further accredited by the Dubai or the UAE consulate or embassy there in your home country. And then you need to bring it, once you forward that certificate here, you need to further get it attested at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dubai. So this is the first level. Once that KYC is undertaken, we listen to your idea, we listen to your concept, and then we try and see whether we can facilitate you at our incubator. If you are coming in as an incubatee, the first few months we give you the space free. The endeavor is to understand whether you fit in into that ecosystem. Okay, very important that we need to know whether you need to be mentored or you are willing to be mentored. Okay, because if you don't, you are not in that loop and frame of mind, it's very difficult for us to do that for you. If you are wanting to work as a professional, we give you the co-working space. It's a workstation with Wi-Fi, infrastructure, meeting rooms, conference rooms, pantry, lobby, the lounge, whatever, all those facilities are in that package. But if you're coming in as an incubator, we are spending money on you, we are investing on you. So our core investors are very keen that what we are backing has a certain bit of traction, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years down the line. So we need, and since we are under the Dubai SME, every 2 months there's an audit that takes place from under their department, which we need to present to them and say that, okay, so-and-so incubate in so-and-so sector, these are the deliverables, these are what they have been targeted to achieve, and this is what they have achieved. So those timelines are also set and audited by them. So it's not as if, as a private entity, we are only mentoring you. No, it's not that. So the funding part comes in only after the first few months, and once we know that you are ready for a pitch. When I say pitch, means most startups, even if they are having a revenue stream in place, are not yet ready to pitch to a set of investors, because there's a whole grooming process that they need to go through. So if we send them to that 1 minute elevator pitch, 3 minute elevator pitch, a 5 minute normal pitch, and a 10-minute Q&A that takes place between the investors. One thing that we appreciate of our fact is that when startups go to pitch, and we encourage them to go out as much as possible to pitch in these various platforms that are there in the region, is because they not only get a line of sight of people the investors wanting to get to know them, but we also get investors then indirectly getting in touch with them and saying, do you want to, are you looking for funds? So it's separate from our incubator. The biggest achievement and validation is when outside investors are sourcing the incubates, knowing that they have achieved a certain bit of traction in their operation and are willing to be invested in. So that's the biggest high that any incubator can have for its incubatees. So our basic facilitation is at these two levels. We give the infrastructure and we give them a fund. That's it. Nothing further than that. Except for when the incubator wants mentoring, this is again I'm saying this, we don't go out of our way to tell them that we want to mentor you. No, it's up to them to take that decision because they're all in their mature age of wanting to be take facilitation and support systems for us. So that's in a nutshell, that's what we do.
Usually, how much would be an average cost for a startup? Let's say they want to come. I know there is funds involving, but I understand you probably don't fund all the startups that come.
No, we
right?
don't do that, yeah.
So it's probably doing like a program inside a program with something for specific startups. So how would be, example, the investment of a startup that potentially doesn't get funded by you, but they can set up here with you and avail some of the service? How much would be an average cost per year as investment to be operating?
Okay, so the basic cost you should have for a year's operation, if you're looking at an incubation center, at least a bare minimum, if it's a one-man or a two-man team, if you're starting off. The most important cost is your licensing cost, okay? If you're coming into the mainland, the licensing cost starts from approximately 35,000 dirhams, okay? This is separate from your incubation centers co-working space fees. We charge 17,000 dirhams annually. That can be broken down on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly, or a 6 months half-yearly basis. So the endeavor is to, as I said, if it's a professional and they're only wanting an infrastructure and a co-working space, their charges are all the same. At an incubating level, after the first few months of onboarding, and we have onboarded them, and then we are issuing. Mind you, we don't issue the license right on the day one if you are coming in as an incubator. After the first few months and we are onboarded, then there are lots of platforms who do their invoicing, billing, everything through startup.com. The endeavor being, they do not have traction when they go as an individual, but when startup.com does for their vendors, for their partners, for their associates, for their collaborations that they go to, startup.com acts as their front line. For example, safari.com, which is a ticketing agency, a single lady who's running that whole platform. Amadeus or Abacus or IATA certification will not be given to that one lady who does not even, yes, she has 20 plus years of being in the travel industry, but she's just starting off. So none of these people will give them her that certification she wants or that ticketing platform she wants, which will take her to the next level. So we had to come on board, stand guarantee or be the KYC front to facilitate that lady, because we have that license to show that yes, the Safari.com is being incubated by us. And since we have a stamp of approval from the Dubai Economy Department, it facilitates the major company out there who's going to associate that yes, startup.com is going to support. So we act like a facilitator if we see that that person has the potential to scale this up to the next level. But that's a whole lot of responsibility we take right in the very beginning. So which is why that first few months what we try and gauge is that individual ready, is she or he ready to have a team that we are giving, or does she want to appoint a whole team, So because if he or she is appointing a whole team, then we are the ones who are issuing the visa. We are the ones who are doing all the protocols of the salary, because all these are norms and standards. One salary not paid by the 10th of the month is a block on our license, no visas can be issued. So there's a lot of responsibility that comes to the incubator. We have to see whether that individual who's heading that particular platform has got that wherewithal, has got that leadership quality, and if he or she doesn't have but has certain traits which we feel can be taken forward, we give him or her the support team so that they have all that wherewithal to sort of go ahead and they can concentrate on what is their core expertise and process. So it's a lot of hand-holding, and that's why we put a stop to any new incubators. We feel that what we have in hand, we should nurture and scale rather than just exploding into various sectors and then, 2 years down the line, we find that we don't have the capacity to scale. So we have to start from the ground up. So that's why we put a stop to any new incubators. We feel that what we have in hand, we should nurture and scale rather than just exploding into various sectors and then 2 years down the line, we find that we don't have the capacity to scale. pulling whatever little hair that we have out of, because I don't think in our all our years of entrepreneurial experience, because we ourselves have not gone through an incubation platform. This is also a learning experience for us, So we learned while others are growing, we are also learning actually of how to, sort of mentor the startups. We are not mentors otherwise. We are from the industry. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a question. We are the Brazilian official export promotion and
Okay.
investment attraction, foreign investment action. Does these startups do partnership with other institutions
Okay.
like
So
ours?
yeah. So we are not Z startup. We are spelled startup.com only. The Z is silent.
Oh,
Okay, so the Z is silent, but it is pronounced because here the government didn't give us a license under the name of startup.com, so we said Z is the best word, which sounds closest to the S. So yes, we are tied up with Malaysian technology parks, with Singapore technology parks, with Kerala Startup Mission. We are tied up with as many, you name it. We are on a war path, literally. We are a member of close to 100 plus global organizations, whether it's in blockchain, or AI, or in robotics, or in 3D printing, you name it. We are associating with everybody. The reason being that, as I said, once our cloud is up, we want to have those analytics which gives us all that data, not only at the global level, but also at the local level, and further at the local level in Dubai, with one center called startup.com in Wafi. Because our next incubator is opening up in India, in Kochi, and our third center is coming up in Singapore. So there will be a lot of transition of startups who will be coming and going in this region. Anybody who is onboarded at any one of these centers will have 24/7 access either in Singapore or in India or here. So all your meetings, all your conferences, all your investor pitches will all be on the cloud. It will all be available there. We do not have to literally be handholding you unless you want somebody to interact with us, to coach you or guide you. We will be hop skipping and jumping in between these three centers. We are thinking of expanding towards Saudi, but not at this moment. This is the only three centers we want to focus. So that is why we are creating our next rung of team members who will be able to handle this place while we operationalize the other two centers, because this 18 months has been a learning experience for us. So now we know where all the pain points for us were, so we could transition that into the new center and do it at a 10x level rather than take those another 18 months to sort of train the next team members there. So that's how it. So we don't mind associating with any entity. As long as it complements us and as long as it facilitates your startups to be using this place as a landing spot. The reason why we are becoming members is because most of these global organizations don't have chapters in this region. Our endeavor is to become the one spot landing area by which when they are transitioning to Dubai, they could use our hub for their co-working space, for their meetings, for their conferences or whatever. Plus, a lot of these global summits and conferences, which are technology based and for startups and entrepreneurs, are all wanting to have some sort of a platform here, which will enable them to start having those. As you know, Dubai is becoming a hub, like Jitex is becoming a hub of all these events and activities. So we are trying to network and bring about some sort of attraction there, and hopefully in 2023 you'll see a lot of events under our platform. I think events is one bonding area where you get to know and meet people like you. Last year we had the Oxford University, we had the SPJ University, we had the Anglion University Paris. We have had lots of delegations. This year we went a bit slow on the delegation part because we ourselves were participating in Jitex. So we said let's hold on. Anything else? Any insights or any stories or anything that you want to know or you want to share? You can, or we could go across there.
It's good if they share that, they have the opportunity to talk to some of the, are they there working?
Yeah, they are all there. They are all there. Since it's office time, we are open on Saturdays. We are open actually on 6 days of the week. We are open also on Sundays, but it depends on who wants to come and work. As I said, we are 365 days, 24/7 access. We don't restrict anybody. You can come in 1 in the morning also. The reason why we are open is because we have gone through that process of having lived in hostels where it is, the environment is ideas don't come between 10 and 5 in the evening. It comes at any time of the night. And that way, that is one of the reasons why we pitched to the government here, and we have received the first of its kind license from the Dubai government, which is co-working and co-living. That's a topic which is taboo out here. As you know, a girl and a boy above the age of 18 is not supposed to be living together if they're not married or they're not a relative. But His Highness passed that decree last year, and we are the first people to have received that license. And hopefully, we should be starting that center by the end of this year. We are negotiating with IKEA to get the furniture and brand that place as the first of its kind co-working slash co-living center in Dubai, branded by IKEA. IKEA, you all must have heard about. They are the furniture people. So uniform. So these are they are bringing in those sort of furniture where those Murphy type of beds where you can pull it down from the wall and use it as a bed in the night, and you can pull it back and the table opens up and you can work also there. So we're trying to build that type of an environment. I feel that is the need of the hour here because a lot of expats are here, a lot of executives are here who yet do not have that type of a branded space because most of them are living in bunker style apartments out here, and that's a lot of stress because you cannot be working and thinking about where you put your head in. So this is a type of an ecosystem we're looking at. And again, the government of Dubai has been extremely grateful to have given us that license. And they have also offered us one of its kind space, which is soon going to come up at the expo site, which is a 200,000 square feet space where we are tying up with LinkedIn for startups, Google for startups, Meta for startups, SAP for startups, Oracle for startups, and IBM for startups. We are going to build that ecosystem where all these platforms under the startup culture can interact with for AI or robotics or 3D or any of these topics which are the next emerging technologies which Dubai is really focused on. And even though we are not technology background, but we are hopefully wanting to be there because that's where the next set of youngsters and startups are coming with, because all their ideas and concepts are all based on online platforms. So we want to be there at least before the trend kicks off. So that's it. Anything else? Great. So can we just? I'm sorry, I'm asking you to walk back. The reason being, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable being there in an office environment. So that's why I said we'll have it here. So this theater, this is like a theater. This is used by Zavansa for a live connection with all the specialists back in Mount Sinai and Methodist and John Hopkins and all these hospitals. They use this for a patient-doctor interaction, and we use it for our pitches and for our. So we are part of our incubate as a platform. Again, top award-winning doctor is the one who's heading it, Dr. Gautam. He's not here, as I would have introduced you to him. So these are each one vertical which started a few months back, but have scaled up to extensive levels within this last 18 months. So we're very happy that you all came here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having visited. I hope that next time when you come to Dubai, you'll see a larger center of startup.com where we'll have not 9 sectors, we'll have as many. Mind you, Dubai Economy Department in their Blue Book have got 2,506 fields under which you can register, and we have got just a small portion of it in business. So the other day when I was talking to the CEO, I was telling him that a day will come and we will not be asking you for permission, but we will become the Dubai Economy Department. That's our vision, to bring in as many sectors as possible so that you get that database which will help us not only in the GCC but back in the other centers that we are wanting, which is India. And as you know, India has become the unicorn capital of the world. We yet haven't got a unicorn, but hopefully in a year or two's time we will reach there also. Okay, so let's just walk across for a light bit of snacks and some little bit of juice and water if you guys want to, and then we can interact with the incubatees who are there. So you get a different level of what all we have achieved in there. Okay, come.
go collections with the government.